Hello everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Destiny video. Today we're going to be going through some more of the events from Star Wars Destiny, the Awakening set. So we are on Armed to the Teeth. It's a yellow villain event, cost 0. And you discard any number of upgrades from one of your yellow characters, then deal damage to a character equal to the number of upgrades you just discarded. So the most upgrades you can have on a character at a time is 3, so the most damage this is going to do is going to be 3. The huge negative on this is that you're having to discard cards to do damage, but I think one of the positives is it's essentially instant damage. You as soon as you play this, you discard your upgrades and then do that much damage. You're not having to roll dice, wait for your opponent to take their action, which could mess up your strategy if they remove certain dice and things like that, and then go back to your turn when you can resolve your dice. You're able to do, like I said, pretty much instant damage. It also works on characters that are, let's say, you have this on Django. Django Fett is obviously on the Carter art as well. But let's say Django has a couple upgrades, and your opponent is showing lethal damage against Django. Before they are able to resolve those dice and defeat him, you can basically discard a couple of your upgrades, because most of the upgrades, unless they're redeploy, are going to be discarded anyway as soon as the character is defeated. So you can peel those off, discard them, and then do that damage. Because sometimes if you don't do it, this is essentially damage that you will be missing out on if you just let them defeat your character. You can mitigate this a little bit with something like Starship Graveyard. So if you're running that in the Jakku location, you can discard some upgrades to do damage, and then claim Starship Graveyard as an action, claim the battlefield, and then put one of the upgrades on top of your deck, and then you get to draw that when you start the next round. It's also potentially could be a good way to just like end the game. Like if your opponent has 3 health left and you don't feel like rolling dice and doing actions and having them potentially win, you can play this, get rid of the upgrades, do the final amount of damage, and have the game be over. So that is Armed to the Teeth. We'll be back with the next card in just a second. Alright, we are back with Confiscation. Cost 0, yellow villain event. Spend resources equal to the cost of an opponent's upgrade in play to return that upgrade to their hand. So the huge negative on this, luckily it's a 0 cost event, but you are having to pay the same resource cost as the resource cost of what you're trying to remove. Sometimes that might be necessary. If there's an upgrade your opponent just played that could be potentially very powerful, let's say they played like something like a Mind Probe or something like that, that you don't want to have that special go off and deal a bunch of damage to your character, you can play this, return it to their hand. If they played it without, let's say, without Holocron or something like that, Mind Probe is a 4 resource cost upgrade. So you're gonna pay 4 to play it. You can play Confiscation, pay 4 to remove it. So they're both they're going to have to accumulate the 4 upgrade or resources necessary to pay for it again. That can prolong the game a little bit and maybe give you a little bit better of a chance to win, or like get through your deck a little bit more if you're drawing cards between rounds and things like that. It is expensive. I probably wouldn't run this unless it was like absolutely necessary. If you're going to come across a deck that's running like really powerful upgrades, like potentially like lightsabers or Mind Probe and things like that, I probably wouldn't run this. But if you know you're going to come across those, it might be worth putting in to make it so they pay for it, and then you basically return it to their hand, and then they're still out the resources for it. You'll be out the resources too, but that might be worth it to keep a powerful upgrade, out of play for a little bit. We'll be right back with the next card. All right, here we are now with Fight Dirty. Yellow villain event again. Cost 1 resource. Remove any number of your yellow dice, then deal damage to a character equal to the number of dice you just removed. So let's just say you roll out very badly. You roll out, let's say, some blanks, some modified sides, and other stuff that you're really not going to be able to use, and you just need to get a few more damage onto a character to defeat them. You then play Fight Dirty, remove all your dice. Let's say you remove 4 dice, and let's say they're at 4 or 3 health or something like that. you just remove all your dice and deal all that damage, defeating the character. Um, it's kind of risky because you might be removing dice that you could potentially maybe discard to re-roll or something like that. So this is probably something that you want to use kind of just to like end the game. Something you want to just like hit the final blow with, pay your one resource, remove your dice, and then hit your opponent for that much damage. It's probably only because you don't really want to remove your own dice unless it's like absolutely necessary. And if you think you could maybe potentially get a reroll and have it be better, you might want to do that. And let's say you discard to reroll, still a bad roll, then play fight dirty and hit him for like 4 damage and potentially win the game. That's fight dirty. I don't particularly use it, but it could be a good way to essentially, if your opponents are going to be playing a lot of dice control anyway, maybe you might as well just beat them to the punch, play some dice control on yourself to hit their character for a bunch of damage. We'll be right back with the next card. Here we are now with Go for the Kill, yellow villain event again, 0 resources. Resolve one of your dice showing range damage, treating this damage as unblockable. So let's just say, you have a 2 range damage side showing. They have 2 shields up. You need 2 damage to defeat the character. Pay 0, resolve that die on its own, do it 2 unblockable damage, winning the game or defeating a character. Sometimes, let's say you only have 1 range damage die anyway, and you don't have any modified sides or nothing else really to resolve it with. Go for the Kill is good because it makes that damage unblockable. So shields aren't gonna, it ignores shields. You're not gonna take off shields with it, and their shields aren't going to protect them. Especially if you have something, let's say, like even like a 3 range damage side showing, or you say you're playing this in a red-yellow deck with an ATST, and you have the 4 range damage side showing, and they're shielded up pretty nicely. You can just pay 0, make that 4 damage unblockable, and hit them pretty hard with it too. And you're just resolving 1 die, so even if you have like a few dice left in your pool, you can always re-roll those, hopefully get more range damage, and then just resolve that normally. That's Go for the Kill. It's essentially it's exactly what the card says. You're going for the kill. You're trying to essentially just defeat that character, and making the damage unblockable is a really good way to do that. We'll be right back with the final card of the day. And our final card of the day is He Doesn't Like You. Cost 0. Yellow villain event again. Remove one of your dice to remove an opponent's die. One of the best removal cards in the game. It costs 0. You remove one. You pick a die of yours to remove. To pick a die an opponent controls to remove. So if you rolled badly, you can just remove one of your. Let's say you rolled a bunch of blanks. You could just remove one of your blanks with this to remove one of their one of their dice that's potentially holding a combo together. Like if it's they have 2 range damage, a +2 range damage, and another +2 range damage. Just remove the regular damage, and their modified dice won't do anything with that other die being removed. Or if they are showing a special that you don't want to deal with, remove one of your dice, remove the die showing the special. For 0 resources, it's definitely one of the best removal cards in the game. I run this, if I'm running yellow villains, I will generally always run 2 of these. 2 He Doesn't Like You. Really good card, really good at removing dice. Pretty good in control decks as well, because you're probably not always going to be having great rolls every time. So you might as well make some of those bad rolls count for something instead of just always pitching to reroll or discarding to reroll. You can pay 0 resources, remove one of your bad dice, and get rid of an opponent's good die, and it all costs 0 resources. So that is He Doesn't Like You, one of my favorite cards. That's going to do it for today's video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. Until next time, take care. Thanks again for watching.